Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I've got an interesting video for you. Today I want to talk about Alone Redemption Season 5, Episode 9. Starvation's Shadow. So if you haven't seen this episode, I highly recommend that you turn this video off because it will contain spoilers and I don't want to ruin your Alone experience. Man, Hide and Seek World Champion. Check that out. Don't you love my shirt? I love it. Right? So, I want to ask that if you guys want to hear my thoughts on who I think is going to win it all, stay till the very end of this video. I will tell you who I think is going to win it all, and I'll also tell you why. So let's get started. The quote on the screen says, "The mountains are calling, and I must go." This is John Muir. Let's start. We're on day 35. It's about 4:30-ish. We're talking about Brit. I got my notes again. Not much, but I got some notes here. It's 33 degrees Fahrenheit outside. It's very cold. So just above freezing. It's a cold morning. So Britt decides that he's going to work on a sled. I thought that was pretty cool. He's going to work on a sled so that he can pull his firewood around. He takes some pine wood and he bends them and stuff, makes these little skids, and he's got these cross members. So basically he's got two skids with cross members. And he did a great job. I think that's a very smart idea. He's definitely planning for winter time, planning on having the ability to move firewood around. Very smart. There was a shot of his shelter, and I noticed behind him and from the outside, he had been using a lot of pine boughs for insulation on his shelter. So my props to you, Britt. Very smart. Good stuff. It looked really dark and kind of gloomy outside, like weather's rolling in. And his sled looked nice. His shelter looked great. Let's move forward. 5:30 in the afternoon approximately. We're talking about Dave. I noticed that his insulation on his shelter was very minimal. He had like logs behind him and you could see like light coming through. I don't know if there was a tarp protecting that convection from coming in or not, but I could see a lot of light. So I was kind of concerned at how warm is his shelter going to be. We don't know. So he said that the loss of body fat makes it harder to sleep at night because he has no cushion. And I agree. The loss of body fat will also affect a person in the way of less body fat means less insulation on your body, which means on a cold night like that, you could shiver at night if you don't have a good shelter or a good fire. So that was the thought that crossed my mind. So he decides that he's going to make some bush tea or pine tea. I call it bush tea. Bush tea is the long pine needles, cut them up. You don't boil them, you just steep them for about 5 minutes. So the water is at a rolling boil. You put the pine needles in there after you cut them, okay, into little segments, and you take that off the fire and you put your lid on it and just let it steep. So it's high in vitamin C, high in vitamin A. It's very good if you have a cold or something like that. And he's talking about that he can feel his teeth moving around. There was an annotation on the screen that said something to the effect that this is caused due to a lack of calcium and vitamin D. Of course, you know, he's malnourished out there. Now, he's lost 25% of his weight. That's crazy. And this is much more nowadays than he did in Patagonia at the same time. So he decides to do laundry, and he just doesn't have any energy. He's getting thin, and he said he wants to establish a positive image. He doesn't want to, you know, look bad or something out there. I mean, nobody wants to look terrible out there. Let's move forward. It's day 36, about 8 in the morning. We're talking about Larry. And I noticed his shelter had a lot of insulation, a lot of material, natural material on the outside of the shelter. I think his shelter is insulated very well. So he decides he's going to go explore. He's going to go to the top of a mountain, and it looks really cold in the footage. And he sees some wild edibles, but there's not much. He saw some mushrooms, and he was looking for chanterelles. Couldn't find anything. Not much. And then he sees some wolf scat, and he hears some wolves howling. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I kind of wondered about that. I kind of wondered if the video editors put in some sound effects or something, because it just didn't seem to me, as a YouTuber, okay, I edit videos, it just seemed like they're cutting in some sound or something of these wolves howling, because it seemed like a little more than what might really be going on. But there was something that Larry said that kind of concerned me, and it was, he said, I'm going to be quiet. He said, I'm going to be quiet. Now, in my opinion, when you're dealing with animals, quiet, I believe, is the last thing you want to do. You want to be known. You want to make yourself presence. You know, let everything know that you're out there. Let those animals know that you're part of their ecosystem. So he doesn't have any food. It's about 10:30 in the morning now. And so, yeah, he's talking about the difference between traveling to find food versus staying in your shelter to conserve calories. That is a significant battle. That's definitely a battle that he's got running through his head. Should I go out and actively find food and burn calories to do that, or should I just sit here and chill and keep the fat that I have left on my body? Very good argument that he's got within himself. So he gets to the top of this mountain, and he loves the view. It's a beautiful view. It shows down, you know, and it looks cold, and you can see everything. All the trees are yellow. The fall colors are definitely kicking in full speed now. Let's move forward. Noon, we're talking about Dave. He decides that he's going to go on this deer hunt again. So he's back in the deer stand. And then it forwards to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2:53, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. You know, he's lost 29 pounds. Okay, it's day 36. And that's twice the amount of weight that he's lost in Mongolia than he lost in Patagonia. He's lost twice the amount of weight. That's significant. And so he says, I don't want to starve anymore. And he taps out. Dave taps. That shocked me because I didn't expect that to happen. He says that it feels right, and then he talks about taking care of his body, and he said this tap out feels better than the last one. He's happy and he's proud. So my thing about that is we have to respect him. Obviously, he's a very good outdoorsman, and I agree with what he's doing. And you know, when he was in Patagonia, he gave it everything he had. He gave it everything he had, and he even mentioned, you know, that when he got done in Patagonia, it took him several months. Listen to that. Several months to get his body back to normal. Because when he would look in the camera lens and stuff like that, when he was out there in Patagonia, he didn't think that he was doing as bad as he was. So once they force tapped him and they medically pulled him, the reality set in, and then when he went back home and everything like that, he could really see himself in the mirror. He could look himself eye to eye and be honest with himself, and he did that. So I'm proud of him for not putting himself in that position this time. Good job, Dave. Really good job. Let's move forward. We're still on day 36, about 5:30 in the evening. We're talking about Britt. Again, he has a very nice shelter, and I'm looking at the scene inside his shelter. He has done a lot of work. He's got plenty of firewood. He's got, you know, insulation. And he's talking about the wind coming in from the south of his shelter. And I think he's got that beat already. And he decides that he wants to stay busy. So he is carving some Christmas ornaments. So he's taken a piece of wood and he's carving like almost like you would see a lathe. You know, he's cutting these little pieces, and it's pretty cool. He says he'd like to make gifts and give them, give his parents a large check. He wants to. He's planning on winning the show. He said he wants to give out these Christmas ornaments, and if he wins, he wants to give his parents a large check and thank them for everything that they've done. Double thumbs up. Man, awesome guy. I love Britt. Day 37. 9:46 in the morning, we're talking about Larry. He woke up and heard a mouse. I noticed his sleeping bag was a Feathered Friends sleeping bag. Those ain't cheap. So he decides he's going to go fishing. It's gotten really cold, and a few hours later, he still hasn't caught any fish. Let's move forward. 2 o'clock. Talking about Sam. He's going to make a kuska, a cup made out of wood, which is funny because Miss Bella and I were talking about that a couple days ago. I was telling her that I wanted to make a cup, a kuska. And I was talking about, you know, burning the wood and blowing on it and using the, using the ember, the coal out of the fire. Told her all about it. And here we're watching Alone, and Sam's doing it. Pretty crazy. What a coincidence, right? Sam and I are on the same wavelength here. He's making a cup. Really cool. And he mentions that he has a concern because it's been a few days since he's went to the bathroom. And he's using a fire blow tube to carve the hole in the cup. Very smart. Very nice cup, Sam. Very good job. So, but I noticed something that was of concern to me. And I'm not trying to be an armchair quarterback here. I know that's what we're doing, though, because we're doing commentary. But again, I'm not out there, but I noticed something that I felt like I needed to say. So he's got a piece of wood here. Okay, so this is his wood that he's carving. This is his knife. And he's pulling the blade towards his chest. Now, he's an advanced outdoorsman. I know. But so was Mary Kate. I mean, I just don't want to see Sam have an accident. I love that guy. He's cool. But I saw him pulling the blade, and I'm like, oh, dude, I was just cringing watching him. So let's move forward. 5:59 on day 37. We're talking about Britt. He said after season 3, he liked how people were with him. And then he mentioned that he went to a gas station one time to get a lottery ticket for his mother. And the guy was like making fun of him and stuff. He's like, well, you're the guy that was on Alone or whatever. And apparently you didn't do too good because you're over here buying a lottery ticket. Whatever, dude. Britt's a good guy. You know, this guy has no right to talk to him like that. Britt's just trying to do something nice out of the kindness of his heart for his parents. He wants to win the lottery for them. Good for you, Britt. So let's move forward. He decided to make a tri-hook. So he took 3 of the fishing hooks. You're allowed 25 fishing hooks. So he took 3 of them and he lashed them together to make a tri-hook. Very smart. He throws it out there. Okay, it's the following day. It's day 38, 9 in the morning. He throws it out there and he catches a fish. But there's a catch to him catching a fish. And that is, as he was pulling it in, he lost not only the fish, but the hook as well, which is 3 hooks. Significant loss for him. Let's move forward. 10:36 in the morning, we're talking about Sam. Nice insulated shelter, I noticed. He's got like a back behind him, like a back of a chair, kind of. And he's carving spoons, and he talks about 2 girls, Scarlett and Lily. And he said they cried when he tapped out on season 1. So he decided to make spoons for those girls, and he's going to strengthen the roof on his shelter so that when the snow falls, it'll be stronger. So he's putting these rafters, if you will, or ceiling joists or whatever you want to call them. So he's putting these in there, and he says, and he's quite concerned because there's still no bowel movement. And he talks about if you call medical that's called a tap out. You know, that's counted as a tap out. And I noticed the footage that he showed, the ceiling of his shelter looked really nice. Looks like he's doing a good job. And he's afraid that if he doesn't go to the bathroom soon, that he will be pulled medically. That's a legit concern. You know, so my thing is, I'm hoping that Sam is staying hydrated, which I'm sure he is. You know, I'm sure he's staying well hydrated. Let's move forward. 2:23. We're talking about Larry. He decides to eat some dandelions that he had saved. So he just now told us that he has been saving food. Very smart. He misses the sweet taste, and he said sweet things make sour bearable. That's true. If you're sad, you can cry. He said it's healthy. What more can I get out of this experience than wait, let me say that again. What more can I get out of this experience that I haven't gotten already? To me, that tells me that Larry's starting to doubt being out there. I could be wrong. Now let's move forward. Day 39, 2 days later, or excuse me, a day later, day 39, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're talking about Sam. So he's looking in the mirror. And they were allowed mirrors on this season as part of their medical kit. So he's still talking about not going to the bathroom, and he's deciding to make a chair. Chair looks very nice. He's calling his chair a stool, and he's hoping that his stool will help soften his stool. He's kind of joking around. Nighttime comes, he's getting very emotional, and he feels that the end could be coming. I don't know if he's talking about tapping, and the show just ends like right there. Kind of a crappy ending, you know, but they love doing that. They like leaving us hanging. So that was it for episode 9. There's only going to be one more episode of this show, and we're going to find out who is left, or who's going to win rather. So we have Britt, Larry, and Sam left. Dave tapped. So we're down to 3 people. We have 1 episode left. We're going to find out who wins it all. So now it's time for me to give my prediction between Larry, Sam, and Britt. Who's going to win? I'm just going to spit it out there. Britt's going to win. I think Britt's going to do it. Britt's had the best luck with fish. I think of the 3, he's got the best shelter. I think he's got the well-insulated shelter, and he has not shown any signs yet of mental lack of mental stability or anything like that. He's ate plenty of fish. Britt's killing it. I think Britt's going to win. Why? It's all about the BK7. Britt has the BK7. That's why he's going to win. So, folks, I want to say thank you for joining me today on this commentary for Alone, Season 5, Episode 9. We have 1 more episode left. One thing that I want to tell you guys before I go, and that is, there's a lot of comments coming through, not just on my channel, but on other commentaries that I've watched. And there's so many armchair quarterbacks out there that are just talking and talking and talking. Well, why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? Let me tell you something. If you have 20 days out there and you film 8 hours a day, that's 160 hours, okay, of footage. 160 hours per person if they all make it 20 days. If you multiply that by 10, you got 1,600 hours of video footage for a show that runs 10 episodes. So you're not seeing the 160 hours of Britt or of Larry or Sam or Dave or any of them. So my thing to you guys is, if you're watching the show, they might have tried something and the editing team might have just not cut it in. So again, thanks for watching. I love you all. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Who's going to win? Who's going to win it all? Britt, Sam, or Larry? Have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time. I can't wait for the next episode. It's going to be fun. Later.